I'm not gonna lie, I've been trying to figure out how to make this video for weeks. I am here to share a story about how I met this man, my brother, for the first time just 2 years ago, living here in beautiful South Carolina. Now, a lot of adoption stories, but let me just give you a little background here. I was born in Ohio and lived most of my adult life in Wisconsin after serving my time in the Navy. I am 20 years older than Kevin, and my wife and I have absolutely no business living in South Carolina. In fact, when our youngest at the time went off to college, we decided we didn't want to live in Wisconsin anymore. We didn't want to stare at snow 6 months out of the year. We could have thrown a dart at a map and just randomly chose a place. What ended up happening was I kept doing searches for cool places to live in the South, and lo and behold, here comes Greenville, South Carolina. It keeps popping up at the top of all these lists. We had friends out in Arizona, and that was actually the plan, was to move to Arizona. In fact, on our last visit, we had actually decided to move there. But we had looked into this town so much that we decided, well, let's just take a trip down there and see the town as a fun kind of vacation idea in the middle of the winter. We flew to Greenville. We were there for, within 3 days of getting there, we fell in love with the place and decided to move here. We don't live directly in Greenville. We live in a very small town outside of it, but that's how we lived. Ended up moving here. No friends, no family, no other earthly reason to live in this place. Moved from a place we'd lived for 20 years to a place that we'd never even visited. So anyway, I get here about 3 years later. I start thinking about the fact that I'm adopted, and I knew from what my mother had told me that I had a brother out there with the same mother, same father, who was only 1 year older than me. So not only do we have the same mother and father, but we're very close in age. That always intrigued me, and I always thought it would be fascinating to go out and find this person. So in Ancestry DNA, entered my information, sent off the deal, whatever the hell they do, and I started getting matches back. Nothing higher than like a cousin level match initially, but hey, a nice lead. So I start sending out kind of my story. Like, here is my background, where I was born, what I know. I know that my mom thought she had heard them refer to me by a specific name, so I included that last name, so on and so forth. One of the people who reaches back out to me says, well, I don't know about that last name, but I'm this last name. I'm not gonna use the last name to protect the innocent. And that last name happened to be essentially one letter different than the last name that my mother gave me. Clearly this was I was onto something. So I go on Facebook and I start searching under that last name. Now, you may not be able to tell, but I am biracial. And so I found a woman, and I knew my biological mother was white. I find a white woman with that last name posing with a couple of black kids, adults, I guess. And I thought, okay, well, that's something maybe to take a closer look at. Went to her Facebook page, found her children and her son. As soon as I pulled up his picture, I was like, this is my brother, 100%, no questions, no doubt in my mind. So, but it's not Kevin. So I pull this gentleman's Facebook page up and I start doing the thing that we do nowadays, which is snooping around. I'm snooping around his Facebook page. I'm seeing his pictures. I know for a fact this is the guy. But in his Facebook page, there is a funeral announcement. Now, I was born in Ohio. He lives in Ohio. That's exactly what you would expect. In this funeral announcement, there are the names of all of my biological father's other kids. So, of course, the first thing I do is get back on Facebook and start doing some more snooping. Come to find out that I have all these other siblings, one of whom happens to live 30 minutes from me right here in South Carolina. Here's the video of us meeting for the very first time. Here is the text I sent him when I found his Facebook profile. And that video is actually from the very next day, where he came over with his wife and kids and met. And here's some photos. We've been close ever since. So here's the question. Why am I recording this video? My brother Kevin is over 20 years younger than me. Well, maybe exactly 20 years younger than me. 20 years younger than me. And when you watch his video, which I hope you will, you'll see that not only do we have a generational difference, right? I'm a Gen Xer, he's a millennial. But we've also been raised a little bit differently, and we probably have a different view of the world, both generationally and culturally. We thought, what a fascinating thing. Two brothers separated by all this time randomly brought together with these significant differences between them, wouldn't it be fun to put something together where we share our views on all kinds of things, fatherhood, just growing up the way that we did, our views on economics, politics, religion, sports, whatever the case may be. So we're launching this channel. I hope you stayed around for the video, and I hope you'll check Kevin's intro video out after this. And I hope you'll subscribe and turn on notifications. Our goal is to kind of post individually and to kind of respond to each other's posts, and then to get together every once in a while and actually record kind of a long form podcast on a couple of topics that we find interesting through the week. That's kind of what this channel is going to be about. This has been my intro. Now please go and check out Kevin.